show that x minus 1 is a factor of 2x cubed minus 7x squared plus 7x minus 2. Now here, the fact that x minus 2 is a factor means that we have x minus 2 multiplied by other things to give it this function. Now it is a cubic function, therefore there are 3 x's in the multiplication. Now let us say that the others are something like ax plus b, since we don't know what multiplies by x and what it adds to, and say you have cx plus d. In this case we have 1x plus negative 2, which is x minus 2, right? Now if this is a factor, and if we make this into 0, just a matter of revision here, I'm doing 0 times ax plus b times cx plus d, whatever a, b, c, and d are, we don't care. 0 times all of that is equal to 0, right? So therefore, if we make x minus 2 0, then whatever x is, when we put it into this, we make it 0, because if we should multiply out all these brackets, all 3 of them, we're going to have 2x cubed minus 7x squared plus 7x minus 2. Now whatever x is to make this 0, when we put x, that x here, all of this will become 0, right? Now in this case, x minus 2 equals 0, therefore x is equal to 2. So if we say 2 minus 2 times ax plus b times cx plus d, this will become 0. So when x is 2, then this function is 0. This function, right, this function here is the same as this function here. This function here, so it will be 0. So f of 2 would be 2 times 2 cubed minus 7 times 2 squared plus 7 times 2 minus 2 must be 0. Alright? Equal 2 cube is 8, 8 2 16 minus 2 2s 4, 4 7s 28 plus 7 2s 14 minus 2. Now 16 minus 28, what is that? 16 minus 28, you get 28. If you say 28 minus 16, you get 2 1. So 16 minus 28 is negative 12. That's negative 12 plus 14 minus 2. What is negative 12 plus 14? Negative 12 plus 14 is 2. So 2 minus 2 equals 0. Alright. So it is shown. So that's shown. Okay? Now, the second part of the question says, hence determine all the linear factors of 2x cubed minus 7x squared plus 7x minus 2. So hence do that. Alright. Now, what you can do here is divide 2x cubed minus 7x plus 7 minus 7x squared plus 7x minus 2 by x minus 2. You're expected to get a remainder of 0, right? But here now, what you would get is a quadratic equation, a quadratic factor. Then after that, you factorize the quadratic factor, which will be an expression, and you get two linear factors, and the x minus 2 will be the third linear factor. So let us go ahead and do that. So we can erase these things. I don't think we're going to be using this work in our next part. Okay, so suppose we have x minus 2. Let's rewrite this without the brackets. X minus 2 divided into 2x cubed minus 7x squared plus 7x minus 2. Okay. Now, we have x into 2x cubed goes what? In other words, if you have 2x cubed divided by x, then you have 2 times x into x1, x into x cubed goes x squared. So it's 2x squared that you have. Alright? So x into this goes 2x squared. Now, 2x squared times all of this will give you what? 2x squared times 2x goes 2x cubed. 2x squared times negative 2 goes negative 2x squared. Oh, negative 4x squared, not 2x squared. My. It was negative 2 2 is 4. 4x squared. Alright? Now let's subtract 2x cubed minus 2x cubed. That's 0. This is 0. And then negative 7x squared minus negative 4x squared. That's like negative 7x squared minus negative 4x squared, which is the same as negative 7x squared plus 4x squared. Now, negative 7 of anything plus 4 of that thing, we're going to be negative 3 of that thing. So it's negative 3x squared. So you see that? Alright. So we don't work. So we have it as this. Now we bring this 7x down. We can get rid of this 0. We don't need it. Repeat the process. We're going to say x divided into negative 3x squared is going to be negative 3x. Alright? Then we multiply negative 3x divided in multiply by x will give you what? It's going to be negative 3x squared. And then negative 3x multiplied by negative 2. Because remember, you know, this is the same as x plus negative 2. So negative 3x multiplied by negative 2. And this would be like 2x squared plus negative 3x. Alright? If you could write it that way. Alright, so negative 3x multiplied by negative 2 will be positive 326, right? X. So you see that? Now we subtract these. Negative 3x squared minus negative 3x squared, that's 0. That was 0 under here. 7x minus 6x is a positive 1x. Could just write it as x, alright? Now we bring down our negative 2. Okay? This is like 7x plus negative 2, right? Now here we say x into 1x. We can just erase some part of this thing. We don't need the 0 plus 1 here. Alright, so x divided into x goes 1 time. 1 times x is x. 1 times negative 2 is minus 2. When you subtract them, you get 0. As expected, right? But why? The reason why I divided it is to find out what is the quadratic factor. Now, this means that x minus 2 multiplied by 2x squared minus 3x plus 1, 2x squared minus 3x plus 1 is going to be equal to 2x cubed minus 7x squared plus 7x minus 2. If you multiply it out, you will see. But the problem here is that we have one linear factor and one quadratic factor. The question says determine all the linear factors. So we're going to get our linear factors from the quadratic factor. So what we do is we're going to factorize 2x squared minus 3, let me write that properly, minus 3x plus 1. Alright, AC method. 2 times 1 gives you 2, that's AC. A times C, because remember the general form of the quadratic expression is ax squared plus bx plus c. In this case, a is 2, b is negative 3, c is 1. Alright? Now, a times c is the same as 2 times 1. In this case, it's 2. Here, we need to find out which two numbers multiply to give 2 and add to give negative 3. Let's see. Well, we could try negative 1 and negative 2. Negative 1 by negative 2 gives a positive 2. Negative 1 plus negative 2 gives a negative 3. Alright. So we break up negative 3x into negative 1x and minus 2x. So what you have is 2x squared in the middle plus 1 at the other end, and then here, 2x squared on the left plus 1 at the other end. Let me separate this. And then minus 1x minus 2x. Then we factorize these in groups. So we have x outside the bracket, 2x minus 1, and then minus 1 here. Negative 1 into negative 2x goes positive 2x. Negative 1 into positive 1 goes minus 1. So we have the same thing in the brackets. We factor out the bracket now. I have 2x minus 1 and x minus 1. Okay. So here we factorize it quadratic factor to get our two linear factors. So we have all three linear factors that we're looking for now. So we can say that the linear factors are x minus 2, 2x minus 1, and x minus 1. So those are the linear factors.